Previously, we asked whether Avebury really deserves to be written off as primitive, and whether its stones might function more like acupuncture needles in the body of the earth. In this episode, we look at acupuncture itself, and at the modern geomancers who have tried to map energy currents through the Avebury landscape. And welcome to Albion Key, a channel dedicated to the mystery of ancient Britain. Here we decode the deeper layers of history, myth and landscape. Acupuncture is a treatment derived from ancient Chinese medicine that involves inserting very fine needles into specific points on the body. Those points belong to a network of meridians, pathways through which a functional energy known as qi is said to flow, restoring balance and health. Modern research has, at the very least, found some oddities along traditional meridian pathways, differences in electrical conductivity, subtle changes in tissue, even variations in light and heat emissions. If something like meridians exist in the body, we can at least ask a parallel question. Could the Earth itself have energy pathways of its own? And if so, what happens when you raise stone circles, banks, and mounds along these lines, effectively inserting giant needles into the Earth's meridians, creating acupuncture for the living landscape? For thousands of years, healers in China have mapped meridians without X-rays, MRI, or electronic sensors. Their maps of the body were based on repeated observation, experience, and subtle perception. In the same way, Chinese geomancers, or feng shui masters, mapped dragon currents in the land, flows of wind and water, form and qi. It was a science of the landscape, acupuncture for the earth. Modern archaeology hesitates to credit Britain's prehistoric builders with anything comparable. The prevailing assumption is that because no written records survive, the indigenous understanding of these forces must have been very basic. Yet, as one historian of Chinese medicine put it, the absence of text does not mean an absence of knowledge. Why should it be unthinkable that prehistory builders in Britain might also have observed patterns in the land, lines of heightened vitality, springs that never ran dry, places where people felt altered, and then marked those places deliberately using stone and earth where that energy was strongest? If Chinese physicians could map meridians without electronics, perhaps prehistoric Europeans developed their own ways of sensing the ground, watching where animals rested, how mist pooled, where people dreamt more vividly, and the subtle frequencies that still pulsed beneath our feet. If healers in the East could map meridians without machines, is it really so far-fetched to imagine that some of Avebury's builders were doing something similar on a vast scale? What better monument of proof to that awareness could there be than Avebury itself? And if this way of reading the landscape speaks to you,
then look out for more episodes on Albion Key for much more to uncover.
And especially look out for episode 3, which picks up the trail at Silbury Hill and West Kennet Longbarrow. Over the last century, a small but persistent lineage of Earth mystery researchers have tried to map these currents with rods, charts, and later, basic measuring devices, magnetometers, Geiger counters, and acoustic sensors. In the mid-20th century, figures such as French radiothecist Margaret Murray and Cambridge archaeologist turned parapsychologist T.C. Lethbridge were already experimenting with pendulums and subtle fields, treating dowsing as a potential instrument for forces normally invisible. Mid-century dowser Guy Underwood then brought this inquiry direct into the ground, tracing geospiral water patterns beneath churches and stone circles. From the late 1970s, Paul Devereux's Dragon project added Geiger counters, magnometers, and ultrasonic detectors at stone circles to test whether any measurable anomalies existed there. Later, Hamish Miller and Paul Broadhurst followed the intertwined Michael and Mary currents across southern England in The Sun and the Serpent. More recently, Gary Bilclift and Caroline Hoare have mapped the Bellinus Ellen Dragonlines in the spine of Albion, while Maria Wheatley has combined geomantic tradition with geophysical measurements at Avebury and other sites. Maria Wheatley's research adds an important modern dimension to the Avebury story. Building on her father's work, she has mapped underground streams, blind springs, and geospiral patterns within the henge, arguing that many stones sit over precise energetic features in the chalk. In some cases, she notes that particular stones appear to modify or focus those currents, suggesting that their placement was informed by an awareness of what lay unseen beneath the surface. Several of Wheatley's field investigations also correlate directly with geophysical readings. Working with engineer Rory Duff and others, she has identified spots where unusual magnetic and low-frequency phenomena coincide with traditional dowsing responses. Taken together, this suggests, without yet proving, that Avebury's builders may have been working with a real, if poorly understood, aspect of the landscape, a way of reading the land as an energetic system, not just a scatter of monuments. For thousands of years, cultures across the world observed that certain places felt different. Hilltops that inspired visions, caves that amplified sound, springs said to heal, and ridges where processions always passed. In China, geomancers called them dragonlines, the ancient source of feng shui. In India, temple builders tuned their sanctuaries to subtle currents of prana. In the Andes, Inca Seike lines radiated from Cusco in ritual pathways that bound empire to landscape. In Britain, they appear as the male and female currents that researchers like Miller, Broadhurst, Bilcliff, and Wheatley have traced along hilltops, churches, wells, and megaliths. Channels that balance both energies and seem favored by our ancestors for creating sanctuaries, chambers, and stone circles. This investigation is only just the beginning. What you've seen here is the surface of something much older, much deeper, and still unfolding in real time. If this has stirred curiosity, subscribe and continue the journey as the next layers reveal themselves. Engage, question, and explore for yourselves. The references are there for your own path of discovery. If Avebury is a kind of acupuncture point, Silbury Hill may be the great chalk pyramid that broadcasts it, and West Kennet, the resonant chamber of the ancestors. That's where we go next.